Welcome to the BBC.
Well, hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Between Both Cheeks podcast. Today, you're just with me today, you guys, and a special guest, Kirsten, who you probably know. She has a very famous podcast called The Waxing Podcast. She also co-founded The Waxing Guide and is recently a brand owner of Enso Wax. Kirsten, welcome so much to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here again and get the updates because you have a lot of updates.
Becca, I'm so excited to be here. I love you so much.
Oh, thank you. So if you guys don't know, we met Kirsten because I started as a fangirl, like so many of us, on social media, following at Tampa Waxer and then the podcast. And so, you can manifest your dreams, you guys. You really can. Just send a DM. You never know where it'll go.
Well, and Becca, you just like instantly we met, and I'm like, we're friends. You know, as I always say too, like obviously there's people on social media all over the place. There's people I follow that don't know who I am, and there's people that follow me who I don't know who they are. It's impossible to know every single person on your page, especially when it's business related. But I always like, reach out and say hi. Come up to me if you see me out at shows. I do it to other people too. And like, you never know who you're going to like vibe with and become friends with. And I feel like you and I have become such good friends, and that makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too. Tell everybody. I know a little bit because we are friends, but if you guys don't know, Kirsten started her own brand, Enso Wax. Gosh, like a year ago almost was the official launch. In July, right?
Yeah, it goes back all the way to 2021 when the idea was concepted. We were working on the product behind the scenes in 2021, which was really fun. I felt it was hard because I was like working on such a big thing that I wanted to talk about, but it also wasn't time to see the light yet. So we stayed silent all the way up until 2023. And then we did our like launch where we introduced the brand, introduced the first product to come out in July of 2023. And now in April of 2024, we had our first product go out live. So it's been a very, very, very long couple of years.
I can't believe that you were able to keep it silent for 2 years. That is like insane. I didn't even know it was 2021. Feels like so long ago and also like a blink all at the same time. I can't believe it.
I like always say that everything I've done in terms of like projects, if you will, I think everything that we do in our work life are just fun projects and games we get to play around with has kind of all aligned with each other. But yeah, the Enso project, although people didn't know what it was until 2023, it started couple years back, and it really aligned when you look back. And I love the podcast for that reason, because you can go back to 2020 and see that version of me. And right around the time that the idea started concepting for what is now Enso, like you can read between the lines, and I think that's really fun because like you can see where that was starting to naturally fit into my next adventure.
I love it. So for the people who maybe don't know, what is Enso? What is your vision? What is it going to be? What is it already? All of the things.
First and foremost, Enso is a brand by an esthetician for estheticians. We are women founded. I am the founder. And the idea of Enso was to break through in the industry in ways that no one else was doing in my specific niche of what I sell. And so we really wanted to be the brand that was able to go where no one else has gone. We've done some pretty crazy things already with the wax warmer. So that is kind of our brand's mission in that sense. I know I could go deeper and deeper, but that is like a sub version of that. Enso is also a brand that has invented and founded what is a wax warmer. It's a self-spinning wax warmer. So that's kind of where I was saying earlier, where we're really breaking through what hasn't been done before. A lot of times, the warmers that are currently sitting on every esthetician's table is private labeled or already have been previously manufactured before. So a lot of the brands are taking that warmer from whatever manufacturer they purchase it off of and they put their logo on. But we wanted to be a little different. We were like, well, these wax warmers are pretty old. They've been around for so long. My biggest thing was because I'm so involved in the beauty industry, as in I have industry friends. I also go to appointments. I have injectors and Botox people and all of that stuff. I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, I see all of the innovation happening on these levels in these specific niches that are just mind-blowing. I mean, you go to like a med spa conference, and I was invited to one a couple of years ago to speak at, and I felt so crazy there because I'm like, there is so much going on, even in the skincare world, which is kind of like our little, like our sisters. If we think about like skincare and waxing, I think both, can meet in the middle in some way. And I'm like, there's so much happening and so much innovation, and yet here we are as waxers kind of being complacent with what we have. And it's not really because of us, what I realized. It's just because of the way the industry's gone and who's running these companies and all of that. So we looked at these wax warmers and we're like, these are like 100 years old. And this is kind of what we are given to use. And unfortunately, we have to warm our wax. It's just a part of our services. So it was one of those moments to be like, well, what can we do different? Because we knew we wanted to start a brand that wasn't just going to be like everybody else. We wanted something to, again, disrupt. And we wanted people to look at this brand and go, wow, this is actually changing a problem in our industry. And so the wax warmer was developed. I thought to myself, what is something that could be really unique that we could do differently? And self-stirring was really the big aha moment. I was noticing that a lot of waxers had these big paint sticks in their they, like little cauldron, someone said like a cauldron,
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, these people are sitting here on Instagram every single day and just stirring their wax with these paint sticks, and they have silicone ones, and they have some that have glitter in them. And there's like all of these different types of stirring mechanisms, yet they're still manual. We're still doing all of the work ourselves. Every single time you revisit your wax warmer, you're needing to respin the wax. So that was like an aha. I was like in my bed one night and I'm like, there's no way that there's not something out there. Because when you think of something and you're like, you look it up on Google and there's some really weird place like in the whole world that's like selling it in the corner of a pocket in our world. And we're like, okay, there it is in Australia. So I was like, okay, let me look and let me see. And I just couldn't find anything. And I'm like, wow, I really believe that this is like a big idea. I think we have something. So yeah, I took the idea to a developer in 2022. In January, I signed papers to start the project, start like the 3D mold, which is something that is put on a computer. All of that is a whole nother story in itself. And we began the project. So as we were developing a self-stirring warmer, we also started to develop different features about a warmer that could also be really great for consumers. Number one, I know when I place my lid down on the desk, it's taking up a lot of room. I need all of the room I can get where my sticks are, my muslin, my paper towels, my pre-care, post-care, all of the things, right? I need those places to have an area. So my lids just seem very in the way. And so we created a personalized lid holder in the back. There's so many little features on there. Like I really did take the time to say, how could we make the esthetician's lives easier, down to like the way the lid is tapered so that you didn't have to hold it with like your palms. You could actually just place your fingers in and slide it right to the back. So we also are a copper focused brand. So what's really cool about copper, again, a lot of people aren't utilizing this in the industry, but should be, because copper is a natural antimicrobial. And so copper actually starts to self-regulate itself. And so we're like in an industry where it's so important to be on top of our sanitation, why are we not using copper as a industry standard when we think about things that we touch? And so all of our warmers insulation is copper, as well as our stirring stick that stays stationary in our wax warmer. And so we always recommend that you double clean everything that you use. However, if you were to take your hand off of the stir stick after some time, it actually will start to self-regulate and clean itself, which is just really cool.
It's funny that you said how it is now with the paint sticks from Home Hardware in the wax pot. It's like stirring a cauldron. I just feel like what you've come up with is like magic. And not to say that it didn't take any hard work or innovation, but I am just so proud that I get to say that I know you, because it is so, like, I tell everybody, even people not in the industry, I'm like, it is just the way that your mind had to work to solve this problem. I'm just in awe, because it is a fundamental piece of equipment that every waxer uses, and it has not changed in years. And it's ugly, and it's clunky, and it's dirty, and it's sticky, and it's laborious. It takes a lot of work. And we've just like totally glossed over it and not thought about it at all.
Well, and it's
And
like
then,
a staple in your room too.
yeah,
So I
you
always say
have to have it.
it's like when I think about when you walk into like your living room or your kitchen and you have like flowers sitting on your table and they're the centerpiece of the room when you walk in. To me, that's what the wax warmer is to an
Yes.
esthetician. And so why we have spent all of this time making such a beautiful room, putting wallpaper up, finding brands that align with us, not only in a way like morally, but also a way that like aligns with your studio space. Like, does it look good on your shelves? Do you want to carry it on back bar? All of these things, we spend so much time and thoughtfulness into all of these decisions. So why not make that a wax warmer decision as well? So that's why obviously too, we had completely changed the design of the wax warmer, which puts us into a whole nother ball game of molds and all of the craziness that even I in 2021 would have never saw myself in the middle of dealing with and having as like a part of my everyday life is manufacturing, molding. This is so much. And so I do believe that there's a reason why I'm here and doing this. And so we've just really just kept pushing through.
Yeah, and it's all custom. Like, you're not taking the easy road and just white labeling something, which seems to be the blueprint, if you will. And we've made little makeshift fixes here and there, with the paint stick, and some companies sell like command strip knobs that you put on your wall to hold the lid. Like, we've makeshifted and DIY'd all these pain points that are obviously shared in the community, but nobody has thought to just like, well, why don't we just go to the root of the problem and just fix the device and make it functional and aesthetic and innovative? And I am your biggest fan. I love it. I love it.
Well,
And
I'm
she
really
has
happy
a patent, you guys. She has a
I do.
patent. It like is so cool.
I do. The patent was really fun. Patents are really interesting. The process was pretty pretty seamless. I mean, I had a lawyer. I think when you do that, I know you can do your own patents. I highly, highly do not recommend it. There are so many hoops and loops that are worth paying for someone else to do for you. The paperwork is absolutely insane, but I was given now my patent book. So this has all of our features in here, which was really cool for me to see and have. Yeah, and Roman's not allowed to touch this, my 5-year-old son. So this is off limits. But yeah, so we have a patent for it. So that's one aspect of our business. We have the wax warmer, and then also we have the wax, which I also feel like is innovative in its own way. Like I said, we're really not trying to add more product into a product heavy world. We're really trying to create things that really spark change in the way that we think about wax and our industry as a whole. So we also have our wax products.
Okay, tell us about those.
So our wax products have, the wax warmer's been in development since officially 2022 in the very beginning in January. Our wax didn't really fall that much afterwards. And so we formulated for about a year. Becca knows all of that really well because, as we know, formulations take time when they are privately or white labeled or whatever they call it in terms of creating products that are pretty much just like tweaks, and then they send you your bottle and you have your label on it. That's a very fast process. But when you formulate from scratch and you do everything yourself, that can take anywhere from 1 year to 2 years, depending on the product. So anyway, that was a year-long process. Hard wax has actually been over a year and a half, and our soft wax launched in April of 2024. And our soft wax is a vegan, hypoallergenic, antimicrobial, and what I believe to be the softest soft wax on the market. It's very versatile. It can be used from head to toe. It's also a wax that is insanely spreadable. And one of the really cool feedbacks that we've gotten so far after it's been launched for now a month is our estheticians are saying that their clients are noticing their wax for the first time ever. And I always think that that's really interesting because, again, it's like such a focal point to your service, and it's something that really matters. Like when we think about things that we spend money on in terms of margins, like in my opinion, wax should be the last thing you're thinking of, and product should be the last thing you're thinking of, because price irrelevant. You need to think of effectiveness, and then you need to think about price, right? I think price is still very important, but if the product's not effective, your product's not going to do well, and you're not going to do well because of it, right? We can only work with, there's this saying that's like the chef is only as good as their equipment.
The tools, yes.
Yeah.
Same with artists, you're only as good as your brushes.
Yeah. So I really feel like that's the same with waxing. It's like you're really only as good as the products that, come with you and work with you. And so this product, and hearing clients actually go to their estheticians and say, oh my gosh, are you using something different? This is so much more gentle than the last one.
That's huge.
Or when they're applying the wax, they're like, wow, I can't feel, like, that doesn't feel hot at all. And it's because our wax is low temperature. And it's really cool. I always say that I created the wax, of course, for estheticians to use, but it's a love letter to clients. I really love that clients are getting involved in the conversation. I even have my clients being like, tell me about the wax. And I'm like, how cool is that like I get to share these really interesting details with my clients that I've never gotten to do before. It's just so fun to me.
And then to like share your passion too with clients is so fun and so special. And for a client to notice something that's being used on their skin is huge. Like that does not happen very often unless it's, a bad experience and they're like, whoa. So for them to notice something positive means that you're doing something very, very right. I love that you said you're not trying to create more product in a product-heavy world. It reminds me of a quote from Bobbi Brown. She says, we don't need more products. We need better products that work better. And I feel like that totally encapsulates what Enso is trying to do. And if you guys know anything about marketing, which is like my forte, there's something called the blue ocean strategy. Have you heard of that?
I'm ready. I love right now. God. I'm reading marketing books every night. Like I'm obsessed with marketing right now.
They're so fun. I'll send you this book. It's called like the Blue Ocean Strategy, and everything you're doing, I'm just like, oh, that's that part of the book. That's that part of the book.
I love that I'm like ahead of a time.
Yes. Yeah, you're like just your intuition is so on the right track. It's like this idea that typically how people traditionally have marketed products and services is like red is the term that this book uses. And that is like, you're trying to profit off of something that already has market value and market share. You're tweaking something that already exists. Or, you're just kind of going with the status quo. And then blue ocean is you are making the competition irrelevant because you have a whole new product in a whole new space. You're not looking for something that's being proved that it has market value and market share. you're making it and you're creating it. So anyways, if everyone listening is interested in a new marketing book, it's really great. I'm going to send you a copy, Kirsten, because it's
Thank
gonna
you.
blow your mind, because just all these things you're saying, I'm like, yeah, like instead of, it would be so much easier to just white label or private label a wax warmer and put a logo on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like red in terms of this book. But what you're doing is you're creating a whole new product in a whole new category, even with the wax as well. Like it's not just tweaking a stock formula, it's custom and it's intentional. And, you're creating a whole new category, which is just, it's so, so cool. So tell us about the launch of Penny and how on earth, because I need marketing advice from you, because Kirsten posted that she sold out in 7 minutes.
So I think that this really happened for a number of reasons, but I can just for sure say that because we launched in 2023 July, and we haven't been able to physically send out anything, we've had like a lot of time to tease. And I think that was kind of really a moment where people, we got to the point where I was like, Penny's coming, because we didn't start really talking about Penny until 2024. But when we did, again, it was still a long time. Most brands in today's world are giving you like a something's coming maybe 3 days before they launch a product. So that really only gives the consumer 3 days to get really excited, which is fun, right? That's going to serve a purpose in its own way. We can't wait to do that with the next launch, right? But we had to kind of continue to make our Instagram relevant. So the only way to do that was to really share about our brand, which was something we always have the goal of doing anyway. I think, again, the brand and how we stand out is we don't just show you like the 3 day before launch, something's coming. Not to say that those aren't great. We will do those too. But it's been really fun to talk about it in formulation, to talk about it when we've given it to estheticians at random during giveaways, sharing their feedback and testimonials and things like that months before it released. Again, it really brought like a lot of tension to the market. Like they were like, Kirsten, just drop this crap already. And I'm like, I know, but the thing is we like literally didn't have it yet. So it was funny. Like for me on the marketing end, I was just trying to think of ways to market and have an Instagram and a reel post and all of that. But what it did is it created a ton of tension for our consumers. And what a lead up. I mean, a 4-month lead up to a product. So when it became time and we officially had a launch date, I think we just had a lot of people be like, finally, I'm ready to purchase something, right? And so we, being new and not having like a fulfillment process yet, we had a lot of expectations of what would happen, what would go wrong, and we knew that something was going to, it's inevitable. And so we set ourselves like a pretty achievable goal, although some might say that's a high goal, but we were like, well, let's just, this way we don't just have too much of a flood of orders. So we created a goal of how much we wanted to send out, and we were good with those orders, and we would, do whatever. And yeah, we went live on our pre-launch sale and it sold out in 7 minutes. And I was just like, holy cow. That was an incredible adrenaline rush like you wouldn't believe. I was on a call with my marketing partner. His name is Jay. He's absolutely incredible. And him and I were just like, okay, here we go. And of course, we had to self-correct some orders and do some things that inevitably we knew what were going to happen. So I was really happy that we did the pre-launch, although it was very stressful to get to that date. Yeah, it set us up for success for the actual launch date afterwards.
Oh my gosh, that is like Taylor Swift numbers, like 7 minutes.
We were excited.
Pre-launch.
We were very excited about it.
So cool.
Yeah,
so cool.
And yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, it's been fun to be so confident in a product and see the outcome of it be just as positive as what I felt about it. And that's always a fun product. You know what that feels like to be creating something and to work along something for so long and get it out into the world and just hope that people feel the same way that you did. So it's been fun.
I love it. I love it. So where can people go to try Penny, the softest sock wax on the market, and sign up for the future other products that are coming down the pipeline very quickly, and
Yes.
eventually the warmer too?
Yeah, so you can find out everything on ensowax.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Enso Wax. You can shop Penny now. We currently are selling our Penny soft wax. We have Penny hard wax coming very, very soon. Something really fun that I'll share with you that I haven't actually posted about yet is we just have like a very different design for the hard wax. Again, we didn't really want to follow the path of everyone else. We really wanted to create a packaging experience that people didn't want to put in barrels and people didn't want to shove underneath their storages and things like that. I'm an esthetician myself, so I've worked in very limited spaces. If you've been following me or do follow me, you might scroll down and see, like, once upon a time, not too long ago, I was working in a space where I had to eliminate even using a bed for 6 months because we didn't have room for it. And still, with just a barber chair doing just brows momentarily until we moved spaces, I couldn't even get around my client to like do their brow on their other side. Like, it was so, so small. So I know the importance of like not having space and really needing to like utilize your walls as much as possible. And so when we were creating the hard wax packaging, we're like, well, why don't we create a packaging experience that people are proud of showing on their wall? I think that's I've never seen wax that I want to actually display. I have products that I happily display. We have retail walls that we put products on. We take pictures with them like this. Like, I love that about products. And I'm like, why can't the wax be the same? That's how we evoke conversation in our treatment room. So our hard wax is going to be in a packaging form that you can hopefully and want to set on your like floating shelves or areas in your treatment room. I'm just super excited.
That is so cool. I can't wait to go offline and hear all about it
Yeah.
in secret. And that, like, again, is so innovative. You know, typically the experience is you pour the wax out of its original packaging into like big plastic containers and then you scoop it out like dog food almost. You know, so to have something that is sleek enough and beautiful enough that people want to show it is so cool. And that's going to be such like a surreal moment for you once you start seeing those pictures on social media. Like, I just know with Bright, it's different because it's, you know, more skincare product, which people do already show off. But one of our products comes in a box, and a lot of people take the box apart and put it on their wall as like a piece of decor. And we didn't anticipate that happening, but I know what it feels like to be like, that is just so cool. And I'm not even the owner of the company, so I can just imagine when that happens, it's going to be so, so, so fun.
I mean, it's a teamwork effort. I feel like even when I worked for Fur for 2 years, like, it was super fun to like watch products that I was a part of and had known about for years, and then to have it come out and see it in people's shelves. Like, I think the team aspect of a company is so fun because it can be fun for everybody. I hope that that's the environment that people are like currently in right now. Because if you're not having fun in a team, environment, that's a whole nother story, but leadership and all that stuff, right? So yeah, it is going to be fun. I mean, whatever you choose, right? There's always going to be people that prefer the big bends and having all of their beads in there and scooping it out. We actually have a really fun thing planned for scoopers. However, I like the option. I like that you can do that. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, it's always been taboo to like put things on the shelves that are wax specific and not just retail specific. So it's like a little different. It's going to provoke conversation, but that was the point of the brand. So
cool. I love it. So go to ensowax.com, you guys, and check it out. I'll put all the links in the show description, as well as Kirsten's podcast and the waxing guide and all of the things. And go and buy Penny Soft Wax and sign up for the email so you're the first to know when the hard wax comes out, and the wax warmer too. Kirsten, thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We love having you on Between Both Cheeks anytime.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I will come on anytime. Anytime.
Okay, we'll hold you to it.
Okay.